Welcome to We've Got a Country to Save, brought to you by Freedom Chat. Freedom Chat has true end-to-end encryption, no storage of messages on the server, and no commercial use of user data. That way you can speak freely and message privately. Download the app today and subscribe to my Freedom Chat channel at Larry Elder for exclusive posts and never-before-seen content. We also thank Old Glory Bank, Patriot Mobile, and El Cholo. Be sure to like and subscribe to our podcast. Make sure to follow or subscribe to my channel on whatever platform you're using, whether X, YouTube, Facebook, or Rumble. Please patronize our sponsors so we can keep bringing you videos. And if you don't patronize our sponsors, well...
Game Bread is in the building, and these guys just flapping gums at each other any chance they get. The fight clock is brought to you by Modelo. One of the greatest knockouts you'll ever see!
Oh my goodness! We know where you live. Now, the Trump effect strikes the Super Bowl.
Yeah. I noticed that at the Super Bowl, there, for the first time in, I think, 4 years now, the Trump administration is making them take away "end racism," which they had written in the end zone, right? And when
why? It just seems silly. I mean,
to do it or not to do it?
Why get rid of it?
Oh, I could tell you why.
I know, but it's just like you're
because it was stupid to begin with.
Yeah, but it's
let me ask you, who is it for? And if you're a racist and you see "end racism" in the end zone, you're going to stop being a racist?
the sentiment is basically like, don't be a...
But I think it's to nag us during a football game about something that doesn't change anything or any. If I'm not a racist and I see it, it doesn't matter. And if I am a racist, it's going to make me more of a racist.
Like, I think if you write "don't be in the end zone," everybody will agree with that.
Trump was cheered at the Super Bowl. Taylor Swift booed.
Broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched.
Quick memo to the Secret Service. This gentleman is unhappy that no one tried to assassinate President Trump at the Super Bowl.
You know what? After all that hype, nobody got his ass at the Super Bowl? You gotta be kidding me. Where's the f***ing team effort?
Now, what to say about the halftime show performance by popular rapper Kendrick Lamar? USA Today wrote, and I'm quoting, "The Grammy-winning rapper took the stage at the Super Bowl 59 halftime show on Sunday for an exhilarating medley performance," end of quote. Well, I, for one, couldn't understand a word. Subtitles might have helped. Exhilarating medley? Okay, call me old and biased. I'm certainly not in Kendrick Lamar's age demo, and artists like Lamar couldn't care less what I think. But I lean toward performers who can actually sing, dance, play an instrument, or, God forbid, do all three. Now, his medley included a song, air quotes, called Humble. Its opening lyrics are, "I remember syrup sandwiches and some allowances, finesse an N-word with some counterfeits, but now I'm counting this Parmesan where my accountant lives. In fact, I'm down in this deuce with my boobay taste like Kool-Aid for the analysts," end of quote.
Alrighty then.
Now, Ebony Magazine described one song performed, along with dancers, as, quote, "a powerful symbol of unity and struggle," end of quote. As for struggle, looks like Mr. Lamar is succeeding. The man just bought a Brentwood mansion for $40 million.
Damn!
As for unity, Samuel L. Jackson was a strange choice to be Lamar's MC.
Salutations! It's your Uncle Sam, and this is the Great American Game. No, 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 no! Too loud, too reckless, too ghetto. Mr. Lamar, do you really know how to play the game? Then tighten up! brought your homeboys with you. The old culture cheat code. Scorekeeper, deduct 1 life. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's what America wants. Nice and calm. You're almost there. Don't mess this.
Oh no! It's a cultural divide.
Jackson suffers from an acute case of Trump derangement syndrome. In a 2023 Rolling Stone interview, Jackson said, quote, "When I see Trump, I see the same rednecks I saw when I was growing up who called me N-word and tried to keep me in my place. That's what the Republican Party is to me," end of quote. And in a 2019 tweet, Mr. Jackson said, "Calling that mother effer a mother effer is not the issue. Calling that mother effer president is," end of quote.
I just want to say, you know, can we all get along? Can we get along?
Now, I thought the left was all about DEI. As to the halftime performers, I got a question.
The revolution about to be televised. You picked the right time, but the wrong guy. Yeah. Hey, I remember syrup sandwiches and crime allowances, finessing on them with some counterfeit. Now I'm counting this. Say, ladies, do me this solid.
Oh, you done lost your damn mind.
This world. That's how you find out who you dealing with. A smart percentage who I'm building with. I want the credit if I'm losing or I'm winning on my mama, Solana. Sometimes you gotta pop out and show. Certified boogeyman, I'm the one that up the skull. Walking down the whole time, I know he got some hoe. Paul, that's the bully the fro. Say Drake, I hear you like I'm young. You better not ever go to cell block 1. To any that talk to me, they in love. Just make sure you hide your little sister from them. They not like us. No. They not like us. No. They not like us. What? They not like us. No. They not like us. No. They not like us.
Hey, where are the white women at?
I'll believe the NFL really means what they say about unity and DEI when Lift Every Voice in saying the so-called Negro National Anthem is sung by a white person. Let me ask you a question. How many of you are concerned about the invasion of privacy that is currently going on by the Biden administration? Biden's DOJ is invading individuals' private messages and targeting them based on their political affiliation, and that's why I partnered with Freedom Chat, a private social messaging app that, like me, believes privacy is your fundamental human right. Freedom Chat has variable end-to-end encryption, built-in screenshot protection, no storage of messages on their servers, and no commercial use of user data. I'm such a fan of Freedom Chat, in fact, that I have created my own private channel that you can subscribe to for exclusive content, including never-seen images, videos, and posts. Simply download the app, or if you're on Android, join their waitlist. Search for my channel and subscribe. No one can see the channels that you are subscribed to or the posts that you react to. It's your own perfectly curated private news feed. Speak freely and message privately with Freedom Chat. Download the app today and subscribe to my channel at Larry Elder for exclusive posts and never-before-seen content. Americans have had enough of supporting companies that hate our values. Tired of compromise? So am I. It's time to switch to Patriot Mobile, America's only Christian conservative wireless provider. They are an example of putting the cause ahead of profits, and that's why I'm proud to partner with them. Patriot Mobile offers dependable nationwide coverage, giving you access to all 3 major networks, which means you get the same coverage you've been accustomed to without funding the left. When you switch over to Patriot Mobile, you're sending a message that you support the First Amendment, the Second Amendment, the sanctity of life, and our military vets and our first responder heroes. Their 100% U.S.-based customer service team makes it easy to switch, keep your number, keep your phone, or upgrade. Their team will help you find the best plan for your needs. Just go to patriotmobile.com/Larry or call 972-PATRIOT. That's patriotmobile.com/Larry or call 972-PATRIOT. Get free activation when you use the offer code Larry. Join me and make that switch today. patriotmobile.com/Larry, patriotmobile.com/Larry or call 972-PATRIOT. Now, I'm old enough to remember when black pastors like MLK preached nonviolence and civil disobedience. Oh, that was so then.
And in this nation, I'm worried that we are on the verge of bloodshed. This is an attempt to take us back to a day that we do not want to go and we will not go. Therefore, there will be conflict. I pray that the peace of God will win out and overcome the madness that is attempting to take over this nation. And I will say to you, beloved, no one likes violence, but sometimes violence is necessary. When Elon Musk forces his way into the United States Treasury and threatens to steal your personal information and your Social Security check, there is the possibility of violence. Sometimes the devil will act so ugly that you have no other choice but to get violent and fight. Well, someone might say, now, Reverend, you shouldn't be talking about violence. This isn't the Christian thing to do. Well, I will say, why not talk this way? Because Jesus did. Jesus said in this key verse, didn't he? The kingdom of heaven suffers what? Violence. And the who? The violent take it by force. The kingdom of God is a war zone. It is a battlefield. You did know this, right?
And remember when Democrats denounced Trump for saying there would be a bloodbath if he lost? He didn't say that. He was talking about what would happen to the auto industry if he lost. But notice the Democrat/media silence over this.
We are going to fight it. Legislatively, we are going to fight it in the courts, and we're going to fight it in the streets.
As for all those lawsuits trying to stop Trump from eliminating waste, fraud, and abuse, and from firing workers, remember when the Supreme Court struck down Joe Biden's student loan forgiveness program and Biden's reaction?
Tens of millions of people's debt was literally about to get canceled. But then some of my Republican friends and elected officials and special interests sued us, and the Supreme Court blocked us. But that didn't stop us. No, I mean it sincerely. We continue to find alternatives passed to reduce student debt payments. That's why my administration is taking the most significant action, notwithstanding the Supreme Court tried to stop me, to provide student debt relief, most supreme ever. When the Supreme Court told me I couldn't, I found two other ways to do it.
Meanwhile, in California, Governor Gavin Newsom signs a bill to spend $50 million to Trump-proof California.
As it relates to the special session, that's a special session to focus on litigation, preparation. As it relates to the reality, it's not a theoretical exercise. We know what happened the last time Donald Trump was president. He vandalized our progress. He vandalized our programs. He broke the law. Courts adjudicated that. It's not an assertion. He did certain things that were unwound at the agency level that attacked this state. And so we are preparing for that. And that was the whole point, is the whole point of the special session. We're not going to be caught flat-footed, and we want to be prepared as early as January 20th, and that's why the special session is important. We also have a brand new legislature coming in, a lot of new people, and this will be an opportunity to engage and convene, talk about the previous 122 lawsuits. Again, we reacted to the assault. It wasn't a proactive litigation strategy. It was a reactive strategy. I hope there's not one lawsuit with Trump administration. As I said, open hand, not a closed fist. No governor in California worked more closely. No governor in the country, I would argue, Democrat, worked more closely, Democratic governor, with Donald Trump than I did during COVID. Same time, he took $1 billion of your high-speed rail money. Same time, he tried to take your crime grants. At the same time, he tried to vandalize most of the progress of the last half century as we were getting along. So again, no one's naive. I've been there. We have the receipts. We know exactly what he intends to do. He's been very honest about that. And there's nothing to suggest the last 2 weeks that he's not even more hell-bent on doing it. Look at the folks, one less today, that he's lining up to run these agencies. And that's why it's very important we're doing the work we're doing today, putting our head down, not focusing on Trump, focusing on you, focusing on communities like this. At the same time, we want to protect our state and protect our values. Billions and billions of dollars of your money in the Central Valley at stake if we roll over and we play naive and nice.
Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Gavin Newsom.
Not really. I think these fires were very devastating. I think the full scope of what actually has happened, we're not there yet. Okay, these people's houses are just destroyed. People are suffering, people are sad, but we're Californians. We're gonna push through, and where we're going, the vision is 10 times bigger than anybody else can even imagine.
Back to Elon Musk. The man is a beast.
Mr. President, do you have a reaction to the new Time magazine cover that has Elon Musk sitting behind your Resolute desk?
タイムマガジンにイーロン・マスクが大統領の机の後ろで座っている写真がありますけども、それに関するコメントは何かありますか?
Is Time magazine still in business? I didn't even know that.
If Adolf Hitler, Mao Zedong, and Elon Musk were walking down the street and you gave an American lefty a gun with 2 bullets, he put both of them in Elon Musk. Musk, after all, has only found $1 billion in waste, fraud, and inefficiency. Maybe, just maybe, he ought to be applauded.
What do you think of Elon Musk?
Oh, he's gonna change the future. Change the future for 100%. Like, oh my God, he's the GOAT. He's the GOAT.
He needs to stop messing around. He needs to, like, relax a little bit.
I think, frankly, he could be overrated. A lot of his stuff was, borrowed money from the government, and I don't know if he's reinvented the wheel by any means.
What do you think about what he's doing with DOGE?
I think it's probably he can't get away from it. He was raised in South Africa, so he's got a mentality of the apartheid type vibes.
I think he's a genius, a little crazy, but I think he's super intelligent. I mean, clearly. I drive a Tesla. I love his products. I love his company, so I really like him.
Excuse me, sir. What do you think of Elon Musk?
He's the man.
Why do you think he's the man?
Because he doesn't need the money.
He's an idiot. I think he is in our way, and I think we're in a very bad way because him and what is happening with him and the president.
Do you think billionaires should get out of politics?
Yes, and I think they should be paying taxes just like everyone else.
How do you feel about Bill Gates?
I like Bill Gates. He at least is conscionable.
What do you think of Elon Musk? He doesn't speak English.
He's a visionary. I love what he's done. Tesla's full self-driving, it's amazing. Einstein of this generation, that's what I believe.
What do you think of his DOGE initiative and what he's doing, kind of auditing the spending in the White House?
I mean, I think it's fair. Somebody needs to take the responsibility and audit the government and see where they've spent a lot of money and where they need to cut costs in order to reduce our debt. I think it's a great thing President Trump has done to set up DOGE. People can be accountable for what they're doing and what they're getting paid for, so,
I think that he's not that good of a person. He might be down with the neo-Nazis. I heard that too. He's being a little bitch.
No, he's an asshole.
Why do you think that?
Because he's just trying to steal everything he can from this world.
What do you think of Elon Musk?
A legend.
He's doing something good.
He's a great guy. I think he's going to do a lot for our government now that he's in it.
He's electrified. Everything is electric with him. I like it.
I like Elon Musk a lot, and I love Donald Trump. I think that was an excellent choice, and I think there's a lot of great things beginning to happen. I think there's a real turning point going on here in California.
Two-step.
He's doing some good things.
I mean, guy's got smarts in some ways, but he's certainly doesn't know enough about government, I'll tell you that much. Going through and taking a chainsaw when a scalpel's needed is not smart,
I have concerns about what he's doing.
What are your concerns?
I think that invariably he's slashing programs that are beneficial to the American public so that his friends can then enter it and set up a private entity and then make their own money. His biggest achievement is convincing other people that he's a hard worker and not someone that benefits off the backs of people that actually can get done.
He's great. I love him. He's smart as dude.
Pretty smart dude. Obviously, we need to tighten up, Our country needs to be run a little bit better, and he could probably help with that.
I think it's not good what he does, so yeah.
What do you think is not good about it?
I don't know, man.
I think he's just a great guy. I love his cars.
What do you think of Elon Musk?
Oh my God, don't get me started.
I don't really get into the politician stuff.
They don't speak English.
Okay. All together now, a 1, a 2, a 3. Can you say constitutional crisis?
That is a constitutional crisis.
Causing a constitutional crisis.
Constitutional crisis.
We are in a constitutional crisis.
that this is a genuine constitutional crisis.
Constitutional crisis.
Crisis the country has faced.
Constitutional crisis. There's going to be a constitutional crisis. Headlong into a genuine constitutional crisis.
Witnessing is a constitutional crisis.
We are in a deep constitutional crisis. Trump has been.
Well, I think there are two issues at play. The constitutional crisis.
Meanwhile, an old video has resurfaced of a USAID official handing out no questions asked grants.
All right, open your boxes. Open your boxes. 1, 2, 3. You get a car. 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 Everybody gets a car.
And now for the favorite sport of Kerosene, Maxine Waters, berating white people.
Look them in the eye. Come on, hold your face up. Look at them. Let them see you. This is him. Look at it. What's your name? Tell us your name. Give me that ID again.
Giving you the ID. I showed it to you.
So what?
I showed you the ID.
You do what?
I showed you the ID.
Could you let me see the ID again? Huh?
No.
No? Will someone else ask him for the ID? Will you ask him for it? He won't let me see it again. You didn't see it. You didn't see it. They didn't see it.
And Trump pretty much sums up Maxine Waters.
What do you think when you saw Democratic lawmakers trying to get into the Department of Education earlier today?
Oh, I see the same ones. I see Maxine Waters, a lowlife. I see, all these people. They don't love our country. They don't love our country. We want great education.
From that cabinet, in a restaurant, in a department store, at a gasoline station. You get out and you create a crowd. And you push back on them. And you tell them they're not welcome anymore, anywhere.
Located in the heart of Sugar House, Salt Lake City, Utah, family-owned El Cholo is a vibrant Mexican restaurant offering a unique dining experience across 2 stylish levels. With a beautiful bar, chic design, and stunning views of the Wasatch Mountains, it's the perfect spot for both casual meals and special occasions. El Cholo can host up to 250 people, making it an ideal venue for events like weddings, parties, or corporate gatherings. Whether you're enjoying authentic Mexican dishes or sipping cocktails like our signature margarita, the restaurant's warm ambiance and prime location attract a diverse crowd, including the University of Utah students who love the flavorful dishes and wonderful, lively atmosphere. El Cholo is a favorite gathering spot for locals and visitors alike. 2166 South 900th East, Salt Lake City, Utah, 84106, phone number 385-426-2166. Other locations in Los Angeles, Santa Monica, downtown LA, Anaheim Hills, Corona del Mar, and La Habra. elcholo.com, that's elcholo.com. And for the rest of February, at the Salt Lake City location only, but for all of February at all El Cholo locations, mention Larry Elder sent me and you get 10% off your check minus alcohol.
Why isn't your bank asking what's in your heart? When big banks cancel your account because they don't like your politics, or they share your transaction data with the government, it's no wonder they don't ask what's in your heart. That's not what they care about. Old Glory Bank is different. We're the pro-America online bank that protects your privacy, security, and liberty. Started by Dr. Ben Carson, Larry Elder, and John Rich, we proudly serve customers in all 50 states. Open your account in minutes at oldglorybank.com. We stand with you.
Trump has put a pause on AIDS, much of which has gone to sub-Saharan Africa, and Democrats have flipped out.
No.
But how about asking the Africans? Has it ever occurred to the left that rather than reducing poverty, we're creating dependency and preventing these countries from escaping poverty? This is the ex-president of Kenya.
People the other day crying, oh, I don't know, Trump has removed money. He said he's not giving us any more money. Watu wanalia. Why are you crying? It's not your government, it's not your country. He has no reason to give you anything. I mean, you don't pay taxes in America. He is appealing to his people. Shauri yenu bwana. This is a wake-up call for you to say, okay, what are we going to do to help ourselves? Instead of crying, tujiulize, what are we going to do? Haya, ametoa hiyo pesa, sasa tutafanya namna gani jameni? What are we going to do? Yeah? To support ourselves. Because nobody is going to continue holding out a hand there to give you. It is time for us to use our resources for the right things. We are the ones who are using them for the wrong things.
And this is a Ugandan activist.
We have depended on US aid for over 60 years, and the moment the owners of the money say, let's take a 90-day pause that I audit where my money is going, suddenly the whole country goes into a frenzy. And this should be a moment of reflection for Uganda and the African continent in general. We have been asking for a very long time to be liberated from colonialism, neo-colonialism, and now that the opportunity presents itself, for some reason, we are complaining. Because let's get something straight. Often the money given to us in foreign aid is lost to corruption, misuse, depleted and overrated salaries to particular individuals, or sometimes we lose billions of money that are unaccounted for. So it only makes sense that the donor is asking for an edit, and if that means pausing the amount of money coming in, they should. And I do understand the implications of this pause because so many heavily funded healthcare projects run on US aid, but that should be a moment of reflection. This is just a 90-day pause. What would happen if the United States just said, we're not giving you money anymore? And within their rights, they can't do that because it is their money. It's high time Uganda and the African continent got themselves together and actually started looking for systems that are sustainable and not always depend on foreign aid, because we are struggling with debt. On top of that, we have constant aid, which doesn't necessarily help us to have a more independent system. Instead of writing paragraphs of why this is a bad move, we should essentially realize that, we are actually in a bad situation and we cannot always depend on aid because it can go any day. African nations should wake up. Uganda should wake up because this is not even funny.
This is the president of Rwanda.
President Trump's unconventional ways of doing things, I completely agree with him on many things.
Even though it will hurt you as Rwanda, which depends on some US aid to fund your healthcare and development.
I think from being hurt, we might learn some lessons to do things we don't do that we should be doing. This is why I'm saying, this aid thing, which I've never been a friend of it, much as I've been a beneficiary of it.
And here's yet another reason to pause this foreign aid.
2 days that he's been in office has already stopped all foreign aid from going to these other countries until America is put first. All of the hurricane victims that were affected in North Carolina, they've been sleeping on the ground in tents all this time under the previous Biden administration. As of now, they've all been sent to fully furnished apartments. They're being housed. They are being taken care of, as they should. And until all the California fire victims have been taken care of, he has promised to stop all foreign aid, has already stopped it, until America is being put first. That's what he's about, that's what he's always been about, and that's why we voted for him.
The Democrats are all at Twitter over shutting down USAID, but they're not the least bit concerned about the crap Elon Musk is finding.
Here are some of the ways the last administration have wasted your money. More than $4.5 million to combat disinformation in Kazakhstan. And just whose disinformation is it? I think that's probably in the eye of the beholder. $20 million for a new Sesame Street show in Iraq. $25 million for Deloitte to promote green transportation in the country of Georgia. Nearly $8 million to teach Sri Lankan journalists how to avoid, quote, binary gendered language. binary gendered language in Sri Lanka? You've got to be kidding me. $5 million to Eco Health Alliance, one of the key NGOs, non-government organizations, funding bat virus research at the Wuhan lab. $20 million for a group related, by the way, to a key player in the Russiagate impeachment hoax. $1.5 million to rebuild the Cuban media ecosystem. $1.5 million on DEI programs in Serbia. Diversity, equity, and inclusion programs in Serbia. Mr. President, I could probably go on for another hour.
And this is a former USAID official.
Corruption at USAID took a number of forms. One of them was that people were subverting the president's will, refusing to, I should say, some of the career bureaucrats were refusing to implement the president's agenda. And they had the opinion that they knew better than the American people who elected the president. And so they figured they would do what they thought was right and not what the president thought was right. And a lot of them were beholden or had ties to the previous administration, the Obama administration. You know, the large majority of them had voted for Hillary Clinton in 2016. Now, some of them, you know, did as they were told, but there was a large resistance element. And in one case, I was at a meeting and they talked about how there was this aid going into Syria and we need to hide it from the White House because we don't want President Trump finding out about it and canceling it. They apparently just forgot I was in the room. That was one example.
Democrats, of course, are experts at pissing away somebody else's money. This is a Obama, Biden, and Kamala fundraiser who has had it up to here with the Obama campaign grifters who have enriched themselves managing and strategizing losing campaigns. Her name is Lindy Lee.
Know what you think of Trump and what you think of this country. Who's in charge of what's the path forward? Is Obama in charge? Was Obama in charge the whole time? Is that it? Is that all that's left?
You would not believe, Benny. I kid you not. I was on my way to do the Sean Ryan show.
Yeah.
And someone calls me, a Democratic donor, one of the biggest Democratic donors who've hosted Biden twice herself, called me at 3:30 a.m. in the morning saying that people are so pissed at Obama and that the entire party is in meltdown mode. Because people are keenly aware that the people who made the most money are the Obama consultants. Wow. And who was helicoptered in after Biden dropped out? A whole slew of Obama people like David Plouffe, et cetera. Yep. And so I think Obama, his reputation has taken a beating as a result of 2024. Mm-hmm. Biden is, doing his thing. So, and then Kamala is flirting with a run in 2026 or even a run for president in 2028. And I can go through, and I have, Benny. I went through every single person on the Democratic side. Not a single one has the talent or the capacity to take on the Republican Party. They just don't. Think about it. At this point in the 2004-2008 cycle, Obama had already given his DNC speech in 2004. We knew he was going to run in 2008. There's nobody now on the horizon who can do this. We are done with their pronoun nonsense, with their open borders pandemonium. We are done with their wasteful spending. We're just done. We're done with their shrill shrieking in confirmation hearings, that which backfired, by the way. So we're just done with that.
Really does beg the question, is this all a grift? Right?
Oh, it absolutely is. I want everyone to know that the campaign raised about $1 billion. The super PAC raised about $1 billion, $2.5 billion in total. Half of the $1 billion that went to the campaign just went to 4 well-connected Democratic firms, including, as we all know, Bully Pulpit International. And who runs these firms? It's Obama World and the consultants. It's the same group of people. They fail upwards. They move from one campaign to the next, and they make so much money. A lot of these people, I don't want to name them. I've had enough abuse for the day, but There are certain really well-known Obama figures who are on their third mansion in Malibu, California. It doesn't take a lot of research to figure out who I'm talking about. These people have gotten so rich.
I gotta go.
Wait a minute.
What?
I wanted to go shopping. Can I get some money?
How much do you need? How much?
That much.
What? Here.
This much.
Here.
Give me a kiss.
Here. See you later. Oh, all right.
Why doesn't Thomas Sowell have a Presidential Medal of Freedom? On Sowell's 92nd birthday, University of Michigan economist and AEI scholar Mark J. Perry wrote, and I'm quoting, "There is no economist alive today who has done more to eloquently, articulately, and persuasively advance the principles of economic freedom and limited government, individual liberty, and a free society than Thomas Sowell. In terms of both the quantity of his work, 49 books and several thousand newspaper columns, and the consistently excellent and clear-eyed quality of his writing, here's Sowell debating with a welfare official about the damage caused by the welfare state."
What the welfare system and other kinds of governmental programs are doing is paying people to fail. Insofar as they fail, they receive the money. Insofar as they succeed, even to a moderate extent, the money is taken away. This is even extended into the school systems, where they will give money to schools with low scores. Insofar as the school improves its education, the money is taken away, so that you are subsidizing people to fail in their own private lives and become more dependent upon the handouts.
We have expectations built in today about the quality of life, the quality of job, the level of income for which one expects in return. Why? Because we look at the level around us that it takes us to have a fairly decent level.
No, that's not why. I may have all sorts of expectations. The question is, what can I do? If someone else is subsidizing my expectations will be far higher. Insofar as the Center for Advanced Study was subsidizing my expectations a few years ago, I refused to work at UCLA for the normal full professor's salary. Why should I, when I can get the same money for being at the Center for Advanced Study with no hours, no duties, and no classes?
Cut off welfare tomorrow. What will they do? What will be their immediate response? At what price to their small children and to their middle-aged children? Yes, they'll get a job. In fact, the statistics show that women, in fact, are the most successful through the employment program. But what has to supplement that typically is the provision of some kind of daycare arrangement. Either the individual woman has to earn enough money to be able to pay privately for her daycare, or in fact she is, quote, subsidized through this insidious corrupting set of programs run by the federal government, which in fact makes her employable and a taxpayer. It's an interesting notion of trying to get people in a productive mode.
Tom Sowell. It's incredible the way you start the story in the middle, as if there's a predestined amount of poverty, a predestined amount of unemployment, and that the welfare system is not itself in any way responsible for that.
There is a predestined 20% of the bottom half of the population.
I have never, that's always been true.
There's going to be 20% at the bottom.
With you. It's also true that 20% of the bottom population doesn't have to be living on the government and ruled by the government. You mentioned, for example, a female-headed household. Many of those, in addition to the grown woman who has all the kids, are teenage pregnancies. There's not a predestined amount of teenage pregnancy. I grew up in an era when people, and particularly blacks, were a lot poorer than today, faced a lot more discrimination than today, and in which the teenage pregnancy rate was a lot lower than today. I don't believe there is a predestined amount of teenage pregnancy, a predestined amount of husband desertion. Gutman has done a study of the black family, showing that this whole notion that the black family has always been disintegrating, that is nonsense, that his studies go up to 1925, the great bulk of black families were intact, two-parent families up through 1925, and going all the way back through the era of slavery. So it is now only within our own time that we suddenly see this inevitable tragedy which the welfare system says it's going to rush in to solve, but which it is itself a part.
We're talking about a very small group. We're talking about 12% of the families are not intact, are not two-parent families at any one period of time.
I mean among welfare recipients?
No,
or the population
among the
at large?
public at large. We're talking about 12% of the families. 12%.
That's right.
That's a small number. But
Well,
there's
none of
still
those on welfare.
We're still talking about a significant component of the bottom 20% that are the bottom 20%. Whether they are above the poverty line or below the poverty line, they are still the bottom 20%. And the issue is, what is the responsibility of the other 80%, if any, toward those individuals?
Does your program plan to eliminate there being a bottom 20%?
No, but it intends to raise the bottom 20%. So
you're raising them by having more illegitimacy, more unemployment. That's
I'm not making them
them.
have illegitimate children. I hope that's clear.
Oh, I think, you don't have to do that. You simply subsidize it.
Now, Ted Cruz saw my tweet about Thomas Sowell deserving the Presidential Medal of Freedom, and he got on board. And I got this text from a friend of mine, economist John Lott. He wrote, quote, "I completely agree. Tom was a professor of mine at UCLA, and he probably was the hardest professor I've ever had. The first day of class had 23 students. By the second class, we were down to 3. There were 600 to 700 pages to read each week, and Tom never lectured. He would stand in front of your desk and for an hour ask you questions about the logic of the reading before moving on to the next student. It was brutal, and it was like a final exam every week," end of quote.
Marriage contracts, historical contracts, French contracts, African tribal contracts, religious contracts. Now, Mr. Hart, can you relate our next case to the summary we've been building?
Thank you. I prefer to pass.
What did you say?
Well, I have nothing relevant to say concerning the case. However, when I have something relevant to say, I shall raise my hand.
Mr. Hart, would you step down here?
Excuse me.
Mr. Hart, here is a dime. Call your mother. Tell her there's serious doubt about your becoming a lawyer.
Speaking of the underappreciated, the LA Times, as you know, call me the black face of white supremacy. Pourquoi?
The LA Times ran a column back in August 2021 when black conservative Larry Elder was running in California's governor recall election. The headline, Larry Elder is the blackface of white supremacy. You've been warned. Which brings up the obvious question, what the f does that even mean? The blackface of white supremacy? I didn't realize white supremacy had an affirmative action program. While this piece was published 4 years ago, it's a time capsule showing just how absurd and ridiculous legacy media had gotten. So we've come to the streets of Los Angeles, Larry Elder's hometown, to ask people ourselves, what the hell does the blackface of white supremacy mean? Well, let's find out.
Blackface used to be like the old vaudeville singers and comedians. You know, you have white guys that put on blackface so they could play a black part. Most blacks were being portrayed with blackface. And then, you know, you got even Justin Trudeau is cut.
Why do you think they would call Larry Elder the blackface of white supremacy?
What I truly believe is reverse racism. We're going to now pick on the black guy by calling him a white guy. We're going to
and listen, politics.
And I have friends. I have my black friends. They always get picked on. I have friends that they say I'm not black because I believe something else. And I'm like, how does that feel? And they're like, it's unbelievable. Why would you promote that? That is promoting hatred for a black person through the use of him being considered a white person, right? We're making him white so we can pick on him.
Divide and demonize. That's what I think people are catching on to that. I really hope so.
You know what's funny about him being the blackface of white supremacy is like, that remind me of Uncle Ruckus, man. Like, you know, everybody know who Uncle Ruckus is, so.
Barack Obama is an evil man.
If we got a modern day Uncle Ruckus, if that's what he wants to do with his life, that's what he gonna do, you know what I mean? But that headline is crazy. I don't know if there's anything that they're trying to do to maybe slander his name or make it, I don't know. Like, I can't really say. You know what I mean?
The news and these columns, the Los Angeles Times, the Sun Sentinel in Florida, it's all bull, man. The news portrays everything the way that they think they need to portray it, and it's not real.
He's a black KKK. That's what I think. So I think when you're in power or in government or race or religion and you're high profile, whether you're white or you're black, it's kind of like a supremacy. I just think he's pretty powerful, pretty radical. Anytime you're really radical, you put a face on it.
What do you think he's radical about?
What I think of some of his ideals.
Honestly, I think he just supports an opinion other than what the establishment in California especially has come to support, and they saw that he was voicing opinions that aligned with the side completely contrary to what leftism has brought about in California. Honestly, they had to call him something. He's a black man. He believes what he believes, and they were going to do anything to run him out of that position. And he posed a serious threat to Newsom. And after that recall election, which went into effect because so many millions of Californians wanted Newsom out of this position, pinpointing him as the blackface of white supremacy was the easiest cop-out for the California state government to shift their voter base away from a black man in office. And honestly, that's contrary to everything they've ever stood on before. I mean, all they want is representation within the government, and they found a way to force it out by pinpointing a black man as a white supremacist, which it's completely dismantling the agenda that they have took so long to build upon, and coming in and saying that diversity all of a sudden doesn't matter because of someone's political views is just completely abhorrent. It's unbelievable.
Well, that's a wrap from Los Angeles. It looks like Los Angeles would look a lot different if Larry Elder had won this state. This is Willie Nelson. Yes, that's my actual name. Your man on the street.
Let me do a little research on it. I can't really answer that today.
I haven't done enough research. I really can't comment on it.
You have privilege. There's an obvious privilege.
Larry Elder here. For the past 18 months, I've been working with Impactful Pictures on an investigative documentary project called Electric Vehicles, the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, which digs deeply into the multifaceted revolution of electric vehicles, shedding light on not just the environmental promises, but also the challenges and the potential pitfalls of this rapidly growing industry. Now, this all started when I began hearing this business about net zero emissions and that gas-powered cars are a threat to the planet and that there's this big push for electric vehicles. I felt conflicted. I love my gas-powered car, but I don't like being told what to do, and I don't want the planet to be damaged. Now, I've been in talk radio for about 30 years, been in TV for about 40. I ran for office, I ran for governor, I ran for president. I'm a best-selling author and a New York Times bestseller. I've always been a truth seeker. So I decided to go on an investigative journey to find out the answer to the following question. Are electric vehicles really better for the planet than gas-powered cars? Now, many governments around the world have signed up for what's called a net zero emission pledge. But a majority of Americans, over 90%, are still driving gas-powered cars, and they are facing the tough choice of whether to switch to an EV or not. We need to get to the truth about EVs. Our team traveled all around the country and talked to many experts and scientists in the fields of cars, the environment, mining, national security, etc. We looked beyond the mainstream media coverage, uncovering the lesser-known aspects of electric vehicles, like the environmental and humanitarian impacts of mining for minerals essential for EV batteries. And what does the future hold for battery disposal and recycling? We also don't shy away from controversial topics, like the geopolitical tensions that arise from China's dominance in the EV industry and the mining industry, and the potential vulnerabilities of EVs which could be prone to cyber attacks and excessive government control. This award-winning team of producer and director and crew at Impactful Pictures have done, in my opinion, an amazing job to uncover the truth. Impactful Pictures is an independent, non-profit film production company dedicated to creating family-friendly stories that entertain and inspire meaningful change for humanity. This is also an important documentary that needs to be seen by all Americans. And for production, we've done it all completely bootstrapped, having never taken one dime of outside funding to complete the project. Now, we need your help to raise money for marketing and promotion, enabling us to bring the truth about EVs to as many Americans as possible and help them make informed decisions on electric vehicles. This documentary is not just about cars, it's about the way we choose to shape our future. So visit our website, larryevfilm.com/join us to learn more and help spread the word about this film. Join us to become part of the truth-seeking movement and bring the truth to light. Thank you for all your support. The bizarre government lawsuit against investigative reporter James O'Keefe has been dropped.
This just in, the Justice Department announcing today they are dropping the case against me. There will be no criminal charges in the case of the Ashley Biden diary and the investigation thereof. From the U.S. Attorney's Office in the Southern District of New York, the government respectfully submits this letter to notify the court that the grand jury investigation that led to the charges and the issuance of above-referenced search warrant into James O'Keefe's home and his reporters has concluded, based upon information currently available to the government, no additional criminal charges are forthcoming. Accordingly, the government requests the court terminate the appointment of the special master, the Honorable Barbara S. Jones. The court had appointed a special master in this case 3 years ago after they raided a newsroom's reporters' homes.
I'm sorry, so what is this regarding? This is the search warrant. Open up.
Also, the U.S. government saying that the court directs the government to move to unseal the search warrant materials at the close of its investigation, and the government has no objection to unsealing those warrants. That's the affidavit. That was the probable cause the U.S. government used to justify its search warrant when they raided the home. The search warrant materials constitute the search warrant application supporting affidavit and any other judicial documents found in connection with the November 5th search that executed at the residence of James O'Keefe.
And what happened to you is like, I don't necessarily blame the foot soldiers. None of these people that did it had any, personal choice. They were told what to do. And those people have to go because, and the January 6th case, at least that was a colorable crime. What you did is not even close to a crime.
The American Civil Liberties Union, many groups have tried to unseal this affidavit. We're finally going to understand what possible justification they had for taking battering rams to journalists' doors. Hopefully never again in the United States of America shall the U.S. government use the politics of fear to try to intimidate, coerce, and chill out the First Amendment just because you don't like the journalists and the stories they do. This is going to be truly remarkable to see.
O'Keefe needs the name of the man who made this door. Now, this ICE raid was supposed to nab 30 foreign gang members. It resulted in only one arrest.
First of all, if they're shouting and helping these people get away with bullhorns, how is that legal to get help from the people in the streets? I know they can protest, but that's not what they're doing.
You're exactly right. When they come to they cross the line of impediment, and that's why I'm working very close, starting this morning with Department of Justice, and where do they cross that line of impediment? So they may find themselves in a pair of handcuffs very soon. So working with DOGE on that, get some legal guidance on that. I'm not an attorney. I know what SecOps is about. I know what crossing that line is, but getting DOJ back up on that. So it's something we're looking at right now, Harris. We're not going to tolerate it anymore. This is not a game. When we show up these sites, this is a dangerous job for the men and women of ICE and Border Patrol and all the DOJ agencies. To have that type of interference puts our officers at great risk. Not only the officers, It puts the aliens at great risk because anything can happen when we take our eyes off the goal here. So we're addressing that immediately today. I'm addressing OPSEC today, operational security, how these leaks are happening. We've already identified how this operation got leaked. I'll deal with that today.
Mr. Ness?
Sorry, no, let him through. Let him through here. Let him through here. You want to take your picture? Take it now. You ready?
Ready.
Finally, wow. There may not be a vaccine for Trump derangement syndrome.
I don't swear in public very well, but we have to Trump.
I love you too, but you're not my type.
Hanging around, nothing to do but frown.
Hang on, Snoopy, Snoopy, hang on.
I call this sleepless nights.
Babe. Babe. Você tá louco? Você tá doido? Você tá...
This is what is known as jumping the gun.
Excuse me.
What do you want? I got a husband, so what do you want?
Okay. You also have a flat tire.
Oh, can you
No, call your husband.
Hope you enjoyed We've Got a Country to Save. Brought to you by Freedom Chat. Freedom Chat has true end-to-end encryption, no storage of messages on the server, and no commercial use of user data. That way you can speak freely and message privately. Download the app today and subscribe to my Freedom Chat channel at Larry Elder for exclusive posts and never-before-seen content. We also thank Old Glory Bank, Patriot Mobile, and El Cholo. Be sure to like and subscribe to our podcast. Make sure to follow or subscribe to my channel on whatever platform you are using, whether X, YouTube, Facebook, or Rumble. Please patronize our sponsors so we can keep bringing you videos. And remember, we've got a country to save.
And then with deregulation, because there's a lot of sort of regulations that don't ultimately serve the public good. We need to free the voters of America to build. And if we do that, that means we can get the economic growth to maybe 3-4%, maybe 5%. And that means we can get $1 trillion of economic growth and cut the budget deficit by $1 trillion. Between now and next year, there is no inflation. There's no inflation. And if the government is not borrowing as much, it means that interest costs decline. So everyone's mortgage, their car payment, their credit card bills, anything else, their student debt, the monthly payments drop. That's a fantastic scenario for the average American. I mean, you imagine they're going down the grocery aisle and the prices from one year to the next are the same, and their mortgage, all the debt payments drop. How great is that for the average American?
We had no idea we were going to find this much. And it's open. It's not like complicated. It's simple.